Hi everyone, this is Saurabh from QMetry and I'm the product expert here at QMetry. Today we'll be walking through Kubernetes test management software and how it helps agile teams with the test management and automation as well. Now, over the time, software testing processes have evolved and transformed. Enterprises now require next generation software testing tools that are easier to understand and more efficient in agile environments. These modern testing tools offer a plethora of features that boost productivity, early detection of errors, and cross-functional collaboration with transparency. Now, all of which contributes to a higher quality. Now, let's understand how do next-generation test management tools evolve testing processes, their capabilities, and how do they fit into the digital era. For, te- for test authoring and execution. Now, let's have a look at how does it edit this. Now let's have a look at from the perspective of test authoring and test execution. Now a next generation tool has intelligent test authoring features like BDD, Gherkin support, exploratory testing capabilities, and reusability features like shareable steps and data parameterization for effective testing and increased productivity. These tools integrate seamlessly with existing developer tools such as Jira, Azure DevOps, and CI/CD pipelines as well, along with the integration for automation frameworks. This helps to establish collaboration among the development and the QA teams and improves transparency. The new test management solutions connects an organization's multiple line of businesses and projects into delivering pipelines, allowing you to see all the test activities at one place and serve as a central repository for multi-projects with diverse testing needs. The next generation test management tool makes life easier for testing teams with one login that gives all stakeholders a single view of test coverage across the entire testing lifecycle. A modern tool also adapts to a development methodology like Agile, Waterfall, etc. Now, from the perspective of analytics, the modern test management platforms provides real-time insights into software quality and delivery pipelines through comprehensive reporting and dashboarding capabilities. Also, it definitely provides you with customization. So reports on traceability, coverage, execution progress, bug analysis, and target versus actual executions are all inbuilt in such kind of tools. There are advanced features that enable business users to generate their own reports using no-code interface and technical users to generate custom reports using a SQL statement within the product itself. And basically, there is no need in such scenarios to go ahead and basically integrate with third-party tools. Everything comes right out of the box within the tool itself. Reports can be easily shared across teams and can be reused across projects. Such tools possess AI features as well that provide predictive, prescriptive recommendations and continue to innovate features to meet evolving customers' need and market trends. From the scalability perspective, the latest generation of test management tools are entirely SaaS-based, providing higher availability and scalability, as well as a low total cost of ownership and maintenance. They have a configurable feature-based model that allows the QA teams to buy only what is important to them and helps to make their budgets under control, or basically helps them to keep the budget under control. Their product development processes are well audited and compliance certified with ISO and SOC 2 compliance. Just keep it till SOC, edit the SOC 2 compliance. A modern tool has REST APIs that allow it to interact with your existing tool chain, even if it's not supported out of the box. Now, let's have a look at the demo itself. Now here, include the test management demo. Now, what you see on the screen is our test management product. It's a completely SaaS-based product. What I'm showing you is the SaaS-based, but we do also offer on-prem version of the product. And there is absolutely no difference between the cloud version and the on-prem that we can provide to the required customers. Now, from the perspective of testing, we have the requirements module where all the requirements can be synchronized, created, When I say synchronize, they can integrate with your development softwares, your SDLC tools such as Azure, Rally, or even Jira, and have a bidirectional sync and traceability back to your Jira and your Azure as well. Now, that's where the requirements integration would come into picture, as well as the tool can be utilized as a standalone tool so that you can create requirements directly within the product itself. Now let's have a look at the Jira integration that we have available. Now, for instance, here you can see is that we have some requirements which have an external key. Now, these external keys basically belong to the Jira. So whenever you have your requirements created within your Jira, now they can be your user stories, your epics, or any custom issue type that you have. All of them can be synchronized back to our test management in the form of requirements. So that configuration is available. Once that is available, if I go ahead and click on the requirement, you can see is that all the metadata related to your Jira would be available back inside our test management. So what issue type you're synchronizing with, which project are you synchronizing with, all the metadata related to your user story or the custom issue type would be available back within your Jira. And then the testers would go ahead and start linking test cases to cover that particular requirement. So for instance, let's say if I quickly go to one of my requirements. So here you can see if I just go ahead and quickly click on the requirement number 11, here you can see is that the testers have gone ahead and linked the test cases to cover this particular requirement. And then the testing efforts will take place for these given test cases within the test suites module. And we will have a look at how the executions basically take place. But from the perspective of that end-to-end traceability, for instance, if I assume right now that these test cases have already undergone execution, if I go to the issues tab within the requirement, we will be able to see all the bugs that were created for those given test cases under the issues tab as well. So you have a list of all the bugs that gets indirectly linked to your requirement as well. So the whole traceability of your bugs is also available back to your requirements. Now, if I go to the details tab, and if I just go ahead and click on the external key, this would navigate me directly to the original user story from my Jira. And this will show me all the bugs that were created within the test management. Along with that, it will also show me all the test cases that will link to the requirement to cover the requirement. So for instance, if you have users or your business analysts or your developers who wants to have a look at all the traceability, the testing efforts taking place within the test management, they can directly go ahead and click on any one of the test cases, which is uh, getting tested against the build, for instance, if they have tested out. And you'll be able to see all the details of the test case within the Jira itself. So you have your fields from QMetry, your user-defined fields from QMetry, all the test steps associated to your test case. If there are any attachments, you'll also be able to see those attachments. But from the perspective of execution, here you can see we have the summary of execution. And under the executions tab, we will be able to see the list of all executions that the test case is part of, along with each and every single step, the execution status of each and every single step. And if there are any comments or bugs created against those particular steps, all of those would be available back within our Jira. So this UI that you see right now is basically getting replicated from your test management back to your Jira. And it's a seamless synchronization. So basically your development team is also updated on instantaneously on all the testing efforts taking place against the build that they have recently passed. So that's where the end-to-end traceability with our Jira comes into picture. Along with that, we also have the end-to-end traceability with Azure. So for instance, if you are utilizing Azure, the same synchronization of your requirements back to our test management and the bugs that you create during the execution of your test cases would be automatically created back to your Azure as well. So we have a unidirectional sync with your requirements module, and then we have a bidirectional sync with your issues module where the bugs that the testers create within the test management project also gets synchronized and traced back to the tool that you're, and also gets traced back to the requirements that you're trying to cover. So let's have a look at one of the requirements that we're synchronizing from Azure. So here you can see this is one of the requirements we're synchronizing from Azure. If I just go ahead and quickly click on the external key, this will give us all the details related to the Azure requirement. And all the metadata related to your Azure will also be automatically reflected back to your test management. So here you can see we have the data. We are synchronizing our task in the form of requirements, and the same task would be available back inside our test management in the form of requirements. And this is here where we have all the metadata. Similarly, if you click on issues, all the bugs that you create during the execution time of the test cases will be automatically traced back to your requirement. And these bugs that we have created also have an external key, which are basically the bugs that are available within your Jira itself. And like I said, we have bidirectional synchronization with your bugs and a unidirectional sync with your requirements module. Now, along with that, we also have a feature, the AIML functionality, where, for example, if you have some requirements which are duplicates, or if you want to go ahead and link some test cases to a requirement, but you're not sure which test cases can basically cover your requirements, we have that taken care with a functionality that we provide, that is the QQ bot. So for instance, if I just quickly go to one of my requirements, and if I, here you can see on the right-hand side, we have the QQ bot. If I click on the QQ bot, it will show you the list of duplicates if there are any present for your current requirement, as well as if I click on linking, it will show you the list of all the test cases that can possibly be linked to your requirement. Now here you can see we have a list of all the test cases, and I feel that the first 3 test cases are the ones which can definitely cover my requirement. I can just go ahead and quickly click on link, and these would link the test cases to my current requirement. Similarly, for your duplicates as well, when you're trying to create a requirement or when you're trying to create a test case, for the matter of fact, so we have the QQbot functionality extended not only to your requirements module, but it is also available for your test case module, and it acts the same. It will suggest you which requirements it can cover, as well as if there are any duplicates for the test cases that you're trying to create. So let's say I just type in database migration testing from mainframe to Linux, for instance, and if I click anywhere else, it will show me all the list of test cases that can possibly match to the one that I'm trying to create. So what I can treat this as is, let's say this is one of the test cases that I want to reutilize, and it matches only 83% to the one that I'm trying to create. I can go ahead and reutilize the test case that already exists and create a new version on top of it as well. So we do have the capability of versioning available within our test management as well. So if I just keep on typing in the steps, for example, let's say if I type in navigate to Linux server. Now this can possibly make it a unique test case depending upon what steps am I including in my test case. So let's say when do I plan to execute this step? I add another step. Let's say make sure servers are up. And here you can see as I'm typing in the details, the percentage match basically changes. And in the end, we can basically come to a conclusion whether we want to continue creating this test case or do we want to utilize something that already exists. So this is where we have the AIML functionality within our test management, which suggests you of duplicates, as well as will suggest you if there are any requirements or test cases that can possibly be linked to your test case or the requirement accordingly. And we can get the shortcut of linking them directly to those entities. Now, from the executions perspective, the test suites is where we would be executing all our test cases. So let's say if I quickly go to one of my test suites, here you can see is that this is how the executions would look like. We have the test cases associated. Now, executions are basically your test plans. And then within a test plan, we can have multiple test runs depending upon how many platforms are you executing against or how many release and cycles are you testing against. Let's say I link another platform, and hence you would see we have another execution created for us. Now, once the execution is available, we also have something called CAFR Part 11 compliance within the product, which takes care of your approval mechanism, as well as providing e-signature for any approval. I can show you one instance right here is, let's say we have a test run which needs to be reviewed by a certain group of users. I go ahead and click on approve since I'm part of that particular group. Click on yes, I can provide my details or my approval details, and now it moves on to the second step for approval. So we have something called a CFR Part 11 compliance, which basically takes care of the stringent workflow mechanism within the tool. And the similarly, it can basically take care of approval of your test runs as well as your test cases. So whenever a test case is created, it needs to undergo certain level of approvals as it has been defined within the test, as it has been defined within the test management. So if I just go to the test suites, this is where we will see the executions. Let's say I go ahead and click on the test suite. This is where we see the execution results. We can mark our executions as passed or failed. We can have attachments as well as bugs created at each and every single step. Now, if you want to create another issue during the execution time, so we have a list of all the available issues from the instance that we are synchronizing with. Or if we want to basically create an issue on the fly during the execution time, we click on create issues, select the instance. If you are synchronizing with Jira or Azure, we can go ahead and select the instance that we want to synchronize back with and what type of issue do we want to create. So this is where you can see in the description, all these steps get copied over automatically. We have all the metadata from Jira since I'm synchronizing with Jira. And we can basically go ahead and create a bug on the fly during the execution time. And the same can be done for each and every single step. To have a look at all the details of which requirement is this test case covering, the details of the test cases, any changes, execution comments, all of that can basically be done directly during the execution time. All the changes that have been taken place on the execution will also be available right here. Now, if I just quickly go to audit log, you can see we will be able to see all the changes that have happened. As well as if I go to the change log here, you can see we have who has made those changes, what were the old values, what's the new value, and accordingly. Now, talking about the CFR part and compliance from the healthcare's perspective, if I go to e-signature approval access, here you can see we have the option of enabling partial compliance. Let's say we quickly go to enable partial compliance. And we also have the option of disabling it at the steps level, because if you're trying to make changes to each and every single step, if you're trying to mark the execution status on each and every single step, you don't want the pop-up of providing the username and password every time. So you have the capability of disabling it at the step level, or you can just basically uncheck. Now, this is where you set the approvers for your requirement, for your test cases, for your test run, and each of those levels can have multiple users. So as soon as a test case has been created, you would see that there's an amber check next to it. And if I quickly go ahead and try to approve this since I'm part of level 1, and since partial compliance is enabled, it will ask me for my credentials. Once I provide my credentials, it will move to the second level. So this is where the e-signature comes into picture. Now, from the reporting perspective, we have a lot of capabilities available. Now, QMetry does provide you with reports out of the box, which would be required by any QA team, such as your requirements report, your test case reports, the dashboard, which basically gives the analysis or basically helps you analyze where you are as a tester in terms of your executions, what has been assigned to you, what is still pending execution. All such kind of details are also available in my dashboard. But some of the very important reports I would like to go over is going to be your traceability report. Now, since you would be synchronizing with Jira or Azure, all the traceability from the executions perspective, such as which requirement are you covering, which all test cases are covering those requirements, the issues created, basically bugs created for the test cases, which execution or which test suite was a bug created in, what was the execution status, when was it executed, the platform release and cycle that they were executed against. So such kind of traceability reports are also available out of the box. And then let's say if I quickly go to the approval workflow, this is something from the perspective of your approval or e-signature, where you can see how many test cases are yet pending approval. And all these reports are drilled down. Test execution approvals, how many of them are in closed status, approved status, in review status. Let's say I want to view all the test cases which are in review. I go ahead and click on them, and these are all the test suites which are still under review. So such kind of reporting is available. Here you can see we have the requirements review flow, requirements pending for my review, my pending test cases to approve, and my pending test executions to be approved or to be closed. Similarly, we have the test result log report for the execution under your project that you are currently in, as well as we can filter based on which test cases or test suites do we want to filter or get the the result logs for, kind of an audit log, but for your executions. Now, these are the reports which are available out of the box, and there are many reports available out of the box. But if there are some KPI reports that you want to create around the custom fields that we have created for those specific projects, we have QMetry Insights, which basically takes care of it. So we have the BI tool built within the tool itself. So it's a tool within the tool where we have the option of basically dragging and dropping and creating our own custom reports. And based upon the dimensions and measures that we have pulled in, we can convert this from a table chart to a column chart and accordingly. Right. And for some advanced users who are familiar with writing a SQL query, we also expose our reporting database within the tool. And you can basically go ahead and write a SQL query and extract the data. So if I just paste in my SQL query, here you can see I can go ahead and click on fetch filters and verify. Now I have a filter on projects. I can go ahead and select the projects that I want to utilize. Click on run query, and now I have my data available. From here, I can convert this SQL query report to a column or a column, bar, line, area, pie chart, and accordingly. For our instance, let's say I go ahead and select pie chart, add the details. All right. And then from here, we can go ahead and create a gadget. Now, the advantage of creating these gadgets is once you have all the reports that you require, we have the capability of even creating custom dashboards. So once you create a custom dashboard, we have the capability of basically utilizing all the gadgets, be it your system gadgets or the custom gadgets that we have created under one dashboard, which can be shared across multiple users as well as non-QMetry users. Click on create dashboard, and now I can go ahead and add all the system gadgets which are part of our QMetry reports and all the gadgets that I have created or any gadgets that have been shared with me by other users. Now, once the dashboard has been created, here you can see this is how it would look like. And now we have the option of exporting your dashboard in the form of PDF. We also have built-in scheduler so that you can send these dashboard or custom dashboards with live data on recurring basis to a specific email address or a group email. And we can schedule it accordingly on when do you want to start the execution or when do you want to start the edit this. We can schedule it on recurring basis with a start date and an end date. If you want it on daily basis, weekly basis, or monthly basis, and we can basically go ahead and mention the recipients of this particular dashboard. Now we also have the option of creating an embedded URL for the dashboard that we just created. So this embedded URL can be integrated within your Confluence page, or it can also be shared directly with your non-QMetry users. So for example, if I just try to open the URL in incognito, so for instance, let's say if I just try to open the dashboard with the embedded URL, as a non-QMetry user, here you can see is that if I just go ahead and try to access the URL, we have the live dashboard available directly. So me as a non-QMetry user, here you can see is that I can see this entire report directly under my browser. And that would be it from QMetry. Now, as we have seen in the demo, the test management is able to integrate with almost all the automation frameworks, as well as we do have our own automation studio, which can help you automate various platforms such as web, mobile, APIs, as well as a few Windows desktop applications. Now, it readily integrates with our test management as well And this seamless integration with our own test management also allows you to trigger automation directly from our test management. So this creates a seamless integration with our enterprise tool and helps capture the automation results directly within the test management, providing greater visibility and control over the test projects. These results can be shared across team as we have the shareability aspect as well as the collaboration can be done via reporting. And it also provides single point access to execution reports from manual and automated test projects. Now let me just quickly go ahead and show you the integration of our QMetry Automation Studio, which is a completely no-code product with our test management. Now, the no-code product that we have available integrates steadily with all the products that we have, be it the plugin or be it the test management. Now, inside the Automation Studio, we have test cycles. So this is where you'll be bringing in various test cases together under a specific job. And a test cycle can have multiple jobs as well. So here you can see I've gone ahead and configured two jobs, one for Chrome and one for Firefox. And I have my web test cases to be executed on each job. Now, over here, we can create an integration directly with our test management or within the plugin as well. And let me quickly show you the configuration within the Automation Studio of how we can create that integration. Once I click on create, here you can see is that we have all the other products of our test of our. Once I click on create, here you can see we have all the other products available for creating that integration. And once we go ahead and select a specific product, we can go ahead and provide all the metadata related to that particular integration. Whether you want to mention a specific folder, a release or a cycle, or a requirement that you want to link all the test cases that would be created, all of those details would be available directly inside our integration. Now, once I go back to my test cycle, let's say I go ahead and quickly link my integration to the test cycle. So we can have multiple integrations, be it one for our plugin, be it one for our test management, and each cycle can have their own individual integration to that specific product. Now, once I go ahead and provide the integration, I can go ahead and quickly execute this test cycle. Now, the test cycle can be executed both in parallel or in sequence. Let's say I go ahead and choose parallel so that it will go ahead and utilize Chrome browser and the Firefox browser and execute all the test cases together. And it will go ahead and execute all the test cases together in each browser. Now, while it is performing the execution, here you can see we also have analytics within the Automation Studio, which will show you the execution results. But these execution results at the end would be always published to our test management since we have created that integration from our test cycle to the test management. Now, let's have a look at the results within the test management. Now, inside the test management, if I just quickly go to the scheduler and hit refresh, here you can see is that it went ahead and created a new test suite. And here within the test suite, we will be able to see all the executions related to the test cases that it also created on the fly. So these are the two test cases that it created on the fly. We have the execution results as per what was available within the Automation Studio. So whether it was in pass or if it was in fail status, accordingly, the statuses would be available back within the test management. If I expand the test case, you can see we also have the test steps created for each and every single test case and execution statuses for each and every single test step. So if there are any failures, any error logs, all of that would be captured and sent back to our test management. If there were any screenshots that were taken for any failures, all of those would also be sent back to our test management and would be available at each and every single step. So this is where we have the seamless integration available from your Automation Studio back to our test management. And not only that, we also have the other way sync where we can go ahead and schedule the same job or run the same job or any other job as well, for the matter of fact, from the Automation Studio with the help of this play button. Once I click on play, I will be able to go ahead and give a specific command, or I can also go ahead and select from the list of commands or the list of test cycles to be executed directly within the Automation Studio. So we have this back and forth integration available with both of our products. And that this is basically going to make it easier for your dev team and the QA teams to work together hand in hand and not basically work in silos. So this is where the whole shift left culture is promoted within all of our products, and you will always see it available and making it easier for the teams to collaborate within the dev cycles as well as the testing cycles. So basically, why QMetry? Now, QMetry is a leading provider of software testing solutions that help organize, achieve higher quality and productivity in the software development life cycles. Our products, such as the test management for Jira, and the test management for the enterprise teams enable team to achieve end-to-end traceability, comprehensive test coverage, and faster time to market as well. And then we also have our automation product, that is the QMetry Automation Studio, which is a true codeless automation for agile teams that offers faster, customizable, extensible, and simple test automation solution. We hope you enjoyed our demo. If you would like to learn more about our products and its AI features, we invite you to join us for a detailed product demo at our booth. You can also contact us. So this is the email where you can contact us, as well as if you have any questions, we can meet right at the booth. Thank you so much.